Live. No, this is Mimerick. Sorry, you're not live. Okay. Jerry Diamond, whatever, whoever. The nobody that's been nowhere and done nothing. There you go. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. Wow. God is awesome. We serve an awesome God, I'm telling you. Our God is an awesome God. Sing that. Yeah. Amazing. The foresight, the planning from time immemorial, before I was born to today, and things I see happen in the future. Wow. I'm just so grateful, so thankful for everything that's going on and how God's using so many people in the world and blessing. So I want to talk to something about very basic here. Elementary, my dear Watson. Yeah, I want to talk about something very elementary. I want to talk about elements. E-L-E-M-E-N-T, element. What's the most basic element? Hydrogen. How heavy is it? Its atomic weight is 1.014. And if you add another proton, that's one proton, one electron, 1.014. If you add a neutron to the nucleus, the core of it, then it almost doubles the weight, 2.018, I think, something like 2.0018, whatever, just about double the weight. So it's called heavy water, deuterium. Okay, this is what Hitler was trying to do. He had heavy water plants, trying to make enough heavy water to create a fuel, heavy fuel for uranium-based fuel for atomic weapons. Now I read that they both, Germany and Japan, both had nuclear weapons. They just weren't able to deliver them over here. Germany had a long-range bomber that could have gotten to Argentina, but they didn't ever get it over here. So they had plans to blow up Manhattan, New York City. Boom, 2 square miles gone into the ocean. So okay, enough of that. So I want to do some science class. I wish they could be live where I had a classroom in front of me or people in front of me I could ask questions. So who understands deuterium? Probably nobody, but deuterium is an isotope of hydrogen. Okay, when you have what an isotope is a that element but with a different number of electrons. Okay, so for example, iodine is like 130. Isotope of iodine is I-131. It's not good for you. It's radioactive. It'll destroy your thyroid. Your thyroid will collect it just like regular iodine, but it'll kill you pretty quick. So drink. Again, another reason to eat fermented foods. And I'll tell you, listen to me, people, listen to me, listen to me, okay? You got to get some of these basic ideas down. Learn to make fermented food, learn to grow fermented food, learn to grow foods you can ferment, and learn to ferment them so you can have food with no refrigeration. It's 4,000 times healthier than regular food. You can make salsa, you can ferment it. My daughter did it. Susie did it. Oh my gosh, phenomenal. She fermented turnips. You can ferment asparagus. You can ferment about anything. Ferment it. It'll last longer. You leave it on, like I said, I showed you the other day. Here's my kefir. Kefir is fermented food, right? I'll drink out of this. It's been sitting here since July 7, 21. Month and a half. Perfectly. It smells great. Love it. I love the taste of it. It's like clotted milk. What it is. I had my kefir here, but I put it away. Not here anymore. Okay. So anyway, I close my eyes because I'm resting. I'm sleeping while I'm talking. Okay. I'm sleep talking. Not sleepwalking. I'm sleep talking. Trying to get some shut eye, which is what I'm doing. So, okay. So you have isotopes of hydrogen. There's 2 or 3 of them. There's deuterium, which is twice as heavy, and then there's plutonium, which is probably even heavier. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I didn't have time. I want to get online because get this done. I got to get to sleep. Deuterium, and there's tritium. Tritium, what's that used for? It's radioactive, and it is used for it glows in the dark, so it's used in gun sights and watch. When you have a watch that don't have to shine a light on to make it glow in the dark, so you can see the hands. That's tritium. They put it on there. Now you can also get glow in the dark paint, which is almost as good, but you have to shine a bright flashlight on to be able to see it at night. So your gun sights at night, if you got tritium, you're good. You don't have to shine the light on them. Glow in the dark paint, you got to shine the light on them for a while so you can be able to see them. It's very important for night vision, trying to see something, trying to hit something when you're shooting at night. Fiber optics work okay, but blah, blah, blah. Okay, not the point of tonight's lecture class. So here you have proton and neutron and an electron circling around that. So this is twice as heavy. That's 2.008 versus 1.014 for without the neutron. Okay, or maybe the proton, whatever it is. One or the other. They're both heavy, but it almost doubles the weight of that molecule of water. Makes it heavy water, heavy hydrogen. So what do you call it when you don't have a lot of deuterium in your water? Deuterium depleted water. DDW, deuterium depleted water. Okay. Now I found a water on Amazon that they sent me 2 bottles, and I bought it twice. I bought 5-liter boxes of, like, wine boxes. But this is crystal source water. It has a lot of, it's very high level of silicon dioxide in it, silica, salicylic acid, silicic acid, whatever it is. But anyway, high levels of silica, which means that it can be programmed much more readily than just regular water. Water can be programmed. You can talk to your water. You can say love, love, healing, forgiveness, wisdom. I've done that for weeks on end now. I'll look at the sky and I go, love, healing, wisdom, forgiveness. Well, this water is this guy actually has, on his website, has a document on how to program your water. Naturally programmable drinking water. I don't know if you can read that, but the label could be better right there. Naturally programmable drinking water. Okay. And the website is, I should remember it. Crystal Source. I think it's Crystal Source. That's dumb to have it on here. SourceWaterUS.com. Source Water. I think it's called the different couple of websites, but Crystal Source. Yeah, Crystal Source Water. Okay. And you can actually see the silica in there. I have about one swallow up there, but I can't see it now. You have to hold it up to a bright light, but you can see it. So this is programmable water. If you make fun of what I'm saying, so many people are like so zombie brain dead ignorant, and I'm not talking about anybody listening to me right now, but I have run into this before. I was at a gathering, okay? We had a gathering of a bunch of people to help develop farms and refuges as places of safety for people. I spoke at the first International Goshen Builders Conference in Ava, Missouri. Other speaker was 2 kids, but other speaker was Michael Peebles, Pastor Michael Peebles. I wish I could have, if I had heard him talk first, I'm not talking. I will not talk. Take my slot. I want to hear you talk more. I don't need to talk. I don't have nothing to say compared to what he had to say. One of the greatest minds I've ever run across in my life. First time I heard him, well, I've heard him several times at music conferences, Songs for His People. And then one day we did it was called Kingdom Builders meeting, gathering or something like Kingdom Builders Conference. It was at a guy's house, friend's house. He got going. He's kind of slow getting going, probably getting used to everybody. I mean, he knew everybody there, but kind of like he's getting the engine warmed up. Once he hit the engine, he hit nitrous, and I actually burst out. I ran up there. I said, "Where did you come from?" And when he was finished, I said to my son and to the guy whose house it was at, I said, "That is the first man I've ever heard in my life that has a brain." That's what I said. That was that's the first man I ever heard that had a brain. They did not take that well. My son never did take that well. So, anyway, too bad, so sad. I guess get my eyes to sleep. So, rewind. Rewind. Where was I? Deuterium. Oh, Kingdom Conference. Michael Peebles. So yeah. So the conference, I was at a conference, and we had the first one. We called it, everybody just called it The Gathering, because people came from all over the state, all over the country, East Coast, West Coast. And it was really a good gathering. I mean, what can we do to help people develop their farms? And I met a lot of good people there, a lot of really cool things. The next year later, a guy had another one. Same guy held it. And I'm telling you, I call it the Blowup Conference, the Blowup meeting. It's like he tried to kill everybody there, tried to destroy the whole thing through a hand. It was like there was a meeting going on, close-knit meeting, a small table, and he threw a grenade in the middle of it and tried to kill everybody. It was terrible. It was horrible. Anyway, one of the things that happened to that, I talked about, you know, the HRV, heart rate variability, and testing that, and how the heart is electrical. It's a vortex that actually generates electricity. And I talked about the circadian rhythm, and this guy started going up about how I was New Age, and I happened to mention, well, there's voltage in on the Earth, and if you go out on a golf course and you raise your golf cart cup on the high, and there's a cloud in the sky, you might get electrocuted. Don't do that. Don't be higher than the tree. Don't be higher than the surrounding. Because if you're grounded, if you're starting barefoot, you can get blasted, fried. He said I was demonic, New Age, blah blah blah. So if the Muron had listened to me and paid attention to what I said about heart rate variability and circadian rhythm and your body energy system, his wife might have survived, because she died of a massive myocardial infarction very shortly after she died. And they actually seemed like they loved each other. It seemed like he loved her. I don't know. She was there, and she was a really beautiful lady, beautiful Christian woman, a little bit overweight. But anyway, she died shortly after that. And he could have prevented that if he'd listened to me. But he was an idiot that just, you're demonic. And I actually got banned from a website because of that. Right now, I'm not going to mention. I should mention names. I really should, because it's a horrific situation going on. But I'm not going to get into it right now. This guy's name was Mel. This guy actually destroyed an entire group. Preparing but not afraid. Yahoo group. Troll from hell. Just destroyed the group. Every time I'd post, he'd attack me. I was the only poster. Virtually. I mean, me and my general Nova Wright. Anyway, sayings. I collected this woman's sayings. I said, sayings of Chairwoman Nova. I just pause there. There's gonna be a lot of women running the show, pair people. I mean, almost every prophet on YouTube right now is a woman. Damn near all of them. Very few men. Very few. Future Esther is a little gal that said men need to start taking up the leadership. Men need to start talking. They need to start stand up. Get the cojones to stand up. She said basically in so many words. She didn't say that exactly, but I'm just putting words in her mouth. Okay, anyway, a lot of women. I'm going to tell you, a lot of women are speaking forth the mind of God. Very important. People need a direction. They need to hear the voice of the Lord. So rewind. Conferences. Mel the troll from hell. Another group got destroyed. Alternate Market, AM Alternate Market. Brandon Smith was a young kid that started it. Really good writer, really good, really good group for quite a while. He allowed one man to destroy that entire group. This man would attack women, just insult them, run them down, to the point where most of them had to leave. The women that helped start the thing, that did all the software for it, the beta testing and everything, that wrote the software for it, left, canned it. So that was very sad. I met a couple of people there, both of them moved here, one from New Jersey, one from Michigan, and of course they deny that. No, you didn't have anything to do with it. God brought me here. Okay, let me know how that works out for you on Judgment Day. Anyway, so deuterium, hydrogen. Why do you want to drink hydrogen-rich HRW, hydrogen-rich water? Do I have that written down? I think I did. No, I did. Let me write it down here for you. I'll write down a couple different. HRW. And then You can call it diatomic hydrogen because there's 2 atoms of hydrogen in it, or you can call it molecular hydrogen because there's a molecule of hydrogen, just hydrogen only. Okay, I like a whiteboard, better one, but HRW, hydrogen-rich water. Memorize that. Get some. You can get it in little tablet forms, and I think I said before in another video that when I got out of the hospital after my stroke, and my blood pressure was high, you know, it was very high, and I couldn't get, I wasn't doing anything, everything I tried, it didn't do anything, didn't touch it, didn't didn't phase it at all. And I saw an ad about hydrogen-rich, you know, hydrogen water filter. They would buy chemical reaction, do the same thing that electricity would do. You know, $4,000 hydrogen machine, $10 filter. I said, well, I'll go with the $10 filter, you know. Well, so I also bought some pills that were hydrogen, HRW, hydrogen-rich water. HRW is one of the main brands. And I said, Dr. Mercola has about 90 tablets in a jar. It's about $50, I think. Look it up on Amazon. But some of them are usually about $1 a pill. Well, it's worth it, you know. That's 2 months worth of hydrogen, one drink a day. Make a vast difference in your life. So anyway, my blood pressure dropped like a rock and stayed stable ever since. But so all these years, I spent probably $300 on those filters. Turapure, Turapur. Don't buy any; they're worthless. Once I started testing them out, these things don't produce any hydrogen whatsoever. None. Zero. You can do it with a chemical reaction in a stick. Better job of it. What did I do with it? They were out here. Oh, here they are. Filter related. Amazon filter related. These are little packets with beads in them. Little balls, little spheres, and they do hydrate. They also raise the pH about 9.5. And I showed you the tip of the jars the other day. I'll show you another one just for repeated in case somebody's new and didn't see the other one. I can't tell you, hey, go back and watch my other video. Okay, this thing has in the bottom. It has a chamber with some beads in it. Okay, I'm gonna see if there's water down there. So let me see. I want to see if this pops. A little bit of pressure. It actually builds up hydrogen and holds the hydrogen gas in there so you can drink it. But the idea is to get it into the water and drink the water. You can also inhale it. There's devices that'll make hydrogen. You can drink it or you can inhale it. It has a nasal cannula, you know, so you can breathe it, you know, put it on your skin, spray it on your face. Hydrogen-rich water. So after all those years, I was wasting a lot of money on it. I usually buy about $10 a piece. I'd try to find for 3 of them in a box for. These are the Turapure filters for $30 or better, you know, whatever. And I bought 2 or 3 of the pitchers. I got them around here. The pistons are actually junk. They're green pitchers. Don't buy them. They're totally crap. Buy a Brita. Buy a, anything with an oval filter, but don't buy them. Don't buy them. I got another one. I showed you another one over there. I'm like, I can't go over and get it, but I'm not going to go over and get it right now. Next time. But it is a brilliant idea. It's a Japanese deal. They have a little filter that fits, a round filter that insert that fits in that round hole for Brita, Mava, Max, or whatever filter you have that has a little 2-inch diameter hole. They have a activated charcoal filter that fits in there. It's it's got a silicone top boot on the top and bottom with a fine mesh stainless steel screen. You fill it with beads. You fill it with you can make your own charcoal in a campfire and put it in there. You can make charcoal. That's nothing you should learn to do. Make charcoal. So food poisoning, make charcoal, burn it. 2 guys were up hunting and the guy got super bad food poisoning from something they ate. The guy said, "Man, we got to go back to town." The other guy said, "Well, hold on here." He had a fire going. He made some charcoal, crushed it up, put it in water, mixed it up, powdered it, and drank it, and he was fine. They went back to hunting. So. All right, so what do we got here? So diatomic hydrogen or molecular hydrogen. Now, the thing of it is that here's the vastly basic elementary, my dear. Remember that, elementary. Look at things that are elemental. Beat them into your head. I wish I could drill holes in people's head and get this information in there. Okay. What makes you sore, what makes your elbow sore, my thumb hurts, my elbow hurts, my wrist hurts, my shoulder hurts, my knees hurt. If you're saying that's you, that's because of a big fat oxygen had them running around in there. And it wasn't random, it's reactive. I finally got that right. I knew that wasn't right. Reactive oxygen species. And they're big. They're reactives of unusual size, rodents of unusual size. Reactive oxygen species. That's what causes your pain. A positive electrical charge. Positive electrical charge in the human body is bad, it's damaging, it's deadly, it's killing you. Okay? I've said before that if you ground yourself, you're immediately healing. You're immediately lifening, as my youngest son said. I said, hey, it said here the second you're not grounded, you're dying. You're demineralizing. Your body's breaking down. You're dying. So my youngest son goes, well, Dad, that means if you're grounded, you're lifening. I went, good point, sport. Very cool. He used to be very wise. All my kids used to have wise. My granddaughter, oh my gosh. I'm going to say this. I was sitting at the house one day at my computer, and I was just grousing about, man, so many people are going to die. So many people are going to die. You know, millions of people are going to die. And my oldest granddaughter, Sarah, at the time very wise, now not so wise. Same thing with my son and all my kids. Kids lose it over the years. I think when they went from thinking, you know, Dad's wise and brilliant because he got us out of Colorado. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. We used to live in Aurora, Colorado. I'm going to come back to that. Remember that. Aurora, Colorado, 1152 Akron Street. Okay, that'll tip you some of them off if you're watching the news. Okay, so you know, I had the foresight to get my kids out of Aurora, Colorado. I got them to Kansas. That little town, we moved from a front range population of 2 million people up and down from, you know, Pueblo to Wyoming. You know, reverse from New Mexico to Wyoming, I-25 is a big, massive city now, okay? Well, back then it wasn't so bad. It was only 2 million people. Now it's probably like 5 million, maybe 10 million, I don't know. Population of Colorado then, when I left, was about 3 million. 2 million were in the front range, up and down the front range. Just east of the Rockies, that corridor, I-25 corridor. Well, we moved from a front range population of 2 million people to a little tiny town in Kansas, in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. Denison, Kansas, north of Holton, outside of Holton, Kansas, north of Topeka, about a half an hour. 200 people. Guess what? Same damn thing. Same assholes running cities. Know it all. Beat you over the head. You can't have that car. It's in my garage. We were in a schoolhouse. It was a shop. The garage was a shop. You know, it was a big, huge door. You could put a school bus in it, 40, 50 feet long. I had a station wagon there. They'd look in the window. You can't have that in there without being licensed, plated, and insured. And I'm like, why? It's just not doing anybody any harm. Same damn thing I had in Colorado. 66 Volkswagen Bug. That 66 Volkswagen Bug, the engine blew up. Somebody put sugar in the gas tank, and I had it behind a 6-foot fence. You can't have that in there. Why? It's a 6-foot fence. No, not bothering anybody. You can't have it in there. They'll be licensed, insured, and plated. Had to sell it. So anyway, what's my point? I don't know what my point is. Something like that. My point is I get to get a drink of water. So water is important. Hydrogen water is important. Diatomic or molecular hydrogen. And one of the sources you can look at, information sources, is a very good website by a guy named Tyler LeBaron, young kid out of Utah. And it's called Molecular Hydrogen Institute. And he doesn't sell anything, doesn't recommend anything, I wish he would, because well, you've done all the testing on it. Which one of these devices is the best? He will not take sides, doesn't sell anything, doesn't represent anything, will not say this is the best device, so that's kind of a bummer. Now there's other hydrogen institutes, but that's one. I can't remember. There's 2 or 3 other ones. I can't remember the lady's name either. But another source, really awesome source, is waterislife.love, and that is Isabel Friend, and she is phenomenal. I've talked about her before, but man, I'll tell you what, that woman's going to talk a mile a minute. Articulate, clear. I mean, every word makes sense. Every word is in the correct order. She doesn't stumble. She doesn't go and she just that about that, not quite that fast, but fast. Articulate, intelligent. Wow. she has a website where she sells stuff, and she sells the best of everything, and I'll give her that. She has the best water hydrogen bottle, I think, because it is waterproof. You can drop it in a bucket of water, 5-gallon bucket of water, or you can charge it with a magnetic charger. I showed you that the other day. Let me show you. See, you can see the little glowing thing on that. Boom, it's charging, and it is already charged up completely. So I'm not gonna. You can see the blue light there. It's not flashing, so it's charged up. One of these, I'm going to fire this up and run it. So, elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary, basic stuff, basic stuff. Fermented foods, critical. Negative electricity for the human body, critical. Now, when I was talking to a friend here tonight about that, he said, hey, when you're on the subject of negative, be sure and tell everybody that I don't care if you have copper. Now, copper is a very good, like I said the other day, a really good thing to drink out of is copper. Receptacle, or a copper mug, a copper water bottle, or waterproof. Have a silicone gasket on O-ring, and they will not spill. You can turn them upside down for forever, and they won't spill, unless the threads are crooked. In my house, I did get one with crooked threads, and it leaked. I could have taken a water pump plug and cranked it down, and it still would have leaked because the threads were off. But anyway, that I got it replaced. So this is a water bottle, copper, and what James said was you put water in that, set it out on the ground, not on water, not on wood, not on concrete, on the ground for, say 2 hours, whatever, half an hour, and it will change the water and make it negative charge. It'll negatively charge the water, which makes sense, especially with copper. Oh my gosh, phenomenal idea on there, because the ground's electrical. The ground is negative. Now, if you go out there and go barefoot, you're going to be grounded earth. So that's the whole idea behind earthing. And let me tell you that story just for shits, grins, and giggles. No, for really basic science. This guy, I'm going to tell you the story just really brief. Clint Obear is his name. And he was in cable, cable TV stuff. And he'd done that his whole life. He made a megaton money. He had a big, huge, gigantic house up on Lookout Mountain above Denver, Colorado. And he got to the point where he had all this thing, barbed wire collections, exquisite paintings, super expensive paintings, and he looked at those and he's like, do I own those things, or do those things own me? That's why I never bought a house, because I read early on, do I own this house, or does this house own me? I have to fix it. I have to do this. 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 I got to have a job to keep the house up. I got to have insurance. I got to paint it. I got to do this. I got to fix the roof. I got to repair the roof. I got to fix the windows. I got to get new windows. I got to get a new sidewalk. I don't need to do that shit. I'm just going to bail out on that scene. So I did. I've never owned a house, basically. So Clint Obear got to this point. He's like, man, what am I doing? I've got my health is bad. I have all this. He had all these energy-related things from sitting in front of a computer, and his body was breaking down. He was getting older and older and breaking down to the point where he couldn't hardly walk, and he had all these degenerative diseases and electrical sensitivities and EMF, electromagnetic interference problems. And he got to the point where he said, he had this deep innate feeling, some deep in his gut, that there was something he had to bring to the human race, to the people of Earth. So he called his children. He said, "Come and get anything you want. Come and get it. I'm gonna sell it, give it away. If you don't come and take it, I'm gonna give it away or sell it. I'm gonna cut the." And he did that. His kids, I don't know if any of them came and got anything. I'd probably not. Not the way kids do with their parents. They just, Dad's dying. Who cares? That's how my kids have been, pretty much. Well, when you die, let me know how that works out for you. I might live longer than you, But anyway, hope she doesn't see this. If she does, oh well. So my point is, Batman. So he had this feeling that there's something he had to bring to the world. So he sold everything. He gumped everything. He sold the house, sold everything he owned, and went off and joined the Peace Corps. No, I'm just kidding. He bought an RV and he drove around the United States for 5 years. For 5 years, people, he drove all over the United States just wondering, what is it? What is it? I know there's something I got to do, something I have to do in life. There's some important mission in life. Now, here's the thing: is you find out what date that was, how old he was when that happened. I bet he's about 50 years old. Because I've heard that this fourth or fifth decade, it's not until the fourth or fifth decade of a man's life that God gives him his mission in life. And that's when mine happened. Vision was in 2001. I was born in '54, so I was 46, 45, something like that, ballpark. I can figure it out later, but about 40, 50, between 40 and 50 years old when that happened for me, and that's my mission. I have a mission, a very, very God-centered, kingdom-centered mission, and I've been rehearsing that because I heard one of these prophetesses the other day. She said, "Go back to your notes of your dream, the dream God gave you." God didn't give me a dream; He gave me a vision, and I don't have any notes for it. But I do have my book, so I read and reread my book. I'm like, yeah, there's some stuff in there I got to do. I've been working on it for 20 years, but 24 years now. But yeah, there's some things I need to get done. So, rewind, rewind. Um, Clint Obear, good man. Okay, so Clint, he's driving around the country for 5 years. He ends up in Sedona, Arizona, and a group of tourists come out of a bus, and they all get off the bus, and they go trump there, and they're all like, I think it's a Japanese group, and they're all got their cameras and stuff, and they blue jeans and white sneakers. They all had white sneakers on, and he's like, ah. I think he might have seen somebody with Crocs, but he goes like, that's it. Or is that it? Are we separated? We have rubber soles, so we're insulated from the ground. Because his whole life, in the book, he said something to the weird, it's kind of strange to the effect that he said something like, we grounded our sensitive electronic components to give them the warm, fuzzy, healing energy of the earth, something like that. He's a scientist. This guy's a scientist, a geek, not a he was not a new age knucklehead, at all. But he just it's something to the effect of the warm, fuzzy, healing energy of the earth. Maybe he got funny by then, but anyway, point being, he thought that maybe is that it. So he got some mats. He made a seat for truck drivers. He had them. He'd go and say, "I'll give you $20 if you sit on this." He grind off under the sliding seat and ground it out to the frame of the truck. He said, "I'll give you 20. I'll send you $20 more if you'll fill out this thing and tell me what happened." Man, I was alert. I had energy. I didn't have to drink so much coffee. I didn't have to drink so many drugs, and I just felt wonderful. I was energized. I didn't have any pain in my knees anymore. All kinds of amazing results. So at some point down the road, he was meeting with Stephen Sinatra, who became the co-author of his book. And now Stephen was a heart doctor. He's a cardiologist, and he's like the expert on long living health. And they did some tests on their blood or something like that. And Ober's test was a lot better than Stephen Sinatra's. And he goes, "That's not right. I'm the doctor. I'm the one that is the expert on all this stuff. How could you possibly have better readings than me?" And Ober said, "Well, it's because probably because I walk barefoot every day for a few miles, whatever it was. I sleep grounded. I walk grounded." And he'd actually go out in the desert and walk barefooted. I don't know, we did scorpions and snakes, but anyway. So that was interesting. So grounding negative electrical charge is very, very, very important. It will take away the pain and the inflammation in your body. Reactive oxygen species, positive charges are bad, and acid is bad. Acid water is bad. I know there's a lot to do about John Ellis water machines, and it distills the water like hundreds of times per gallon. Okay, but it's still acid. It's acid water, so it may be the most electrically powerful water in the world. I don't know about that. I've never tried it. Never had a chance to do that. But I'm telling you what, it's acid. It's a very low pH. And the ORP would be horrible. The ORP would probably be 500, 600, maybe 1,000. I don't know. I'd like to test that. A friend of mine has one. I got to ask him if I can get a sample of it. But you want a negative ORP reading, below zero ORP reading, and you want a very high pH, 9.5 pH, 9.9 pH, whatever. And you want to have a negative ORP reading, below zero. So. Those filter-related bottles, I had them reading 2,000 parts per billion hydrogen, which is phenomenal. The Tour Pure hydrogen water filter didn't. I never got a single, not one on it, not one. The filter related put out 2,000. Now I had two things in there. I had to. This is also theirs too, a filter related, but I had that in there. It's a disc that does hydrogen. I got 3 of them. I don't know where the other one is, but I put that in the bottle with the thing that was in the bottom there, and that they hit 2,000 parts per billion and negative 600 ORP, oxidative. Yeah, oxidative reduction potential, reactive oxygen species. So it was a negative reading of 600. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'd be happy to see anything below 0, anything negative, 100, negative 100 would be. I'd be happy to see that on some things, but these things they worked. So, and these got one around I can show you. Some of these work too. I can't tell you which brand or what, but they look like that. They all look the same, so I can't tell you. But find one that says hydrogen alkaline water stick. They're stainless steel. I had one of them in there too, and they hit high hydrogen readings and good pH readings. I can't tell you the company because I don't. Well, EMS is one. Is that right? EMH. They're good. And like Santiva, they have their own brand, but when they want to sell you the replacement beads for like $45, sorry, those beads I showed you, that pack there, that's 3 little packs of beads in there, and they're like $10-15, So that's a pretty good price, I think, pretty good deal. Now there's another type of water I want to show you too, and I love this because it's my favorite color. Blue, royal blue, cobalt blue. Look at that. Now let me show you about this stuff. This is from Ecuador, right? And I'm actually helping them open up the market in the United States. So buy this stuff. I'll tell you why. Number one, see that little gold blob there? I don't know if you can see that. AU, Aurum. That's the atomic symbol for gold in this gold color, right? Well, guess what? What is AG? Silver. This water comes up through a volcano, dormant volcano, hopefully dormant, and it picks up colloidal gold and silver. So there's gold and silver in here. This stuff is absolutely. This is a glass bottle. This is my last one. I don't want to give it away. I want to buy more someday. But they sent me 6 of these. They're 750 milliliters. They sell it in glass, 750, and I don't think they have liters in glass, but they do have liters in, plastic. Good plastic. I'm gonna get that's what I'm gonna get next is plastic ones, just because they're easier. If you drop one of these, man, it's gonna be a mess. But they are heavy. They're sweet. Oh man, they're just gorgeous. That's like a work of art, especially with the gold and silver thing on there. So phenomenal stuff. Sarah Crouch is the gal I'm working with, and as I speak, she's down there in Ecuador at the volcano site of the water bottling plant. So very cool. That's a couple of the ones I found. 1907 out of New Zealand is a spring water from New Zealand, and antipodes. I mentioned that before. Antipodes means the other pole. Yes, other end of the world. If that's what you believe about the world, of course, which I don't. Anyway, no big deal. Believe what you want. Okay, I'm about fried. I got a big weekend ahead of me. So, if y'all want to pray for me, please do. I'm going to be leaving here. Funny, I made a statement, and I was talking to James Weber today because I wanted to get some info about engines on a U-Haul. And I made a statement, and he said, that's exactly what I told this guy. He said he found some guy, a prophet up here, and he's really good. And he said, man, you could be making a lot of money. I said, well, yeah, I got this thing. And he goes, no, I mean that, no, that's just chicken feed. He says, you need to be where you can be appreciated, not just tolerated. And I've been told, you're just being tolerated where you're at. You need to get out of there. It's a high stress, it's a very toxic environment. You need to leave. Come over here where you'll be appreciated, not just tolerated. So I'm gonna be appreciated now. About time for it. It's been, not about time. I'm not complaining. It's been a trial. I mean, it's been me. You know, a lot of it's me. You know, you go into the wilderness to learn stuff, right? And if you're in the wilderness, every time you do something, it goes bad. Figure that it's you that needs to learn something. Don't be blaming God. Don't be blaming me. Don't be blaming your mother. Don't be blaming your dad. Don't be blaming your neighbor. Don't be blaming the guy that you think to ripped you off. Blame yourself. Look into your own heart. Get your own shit cleaned up. You know, get the mote out of your eye, because that's where it is. That's where the mote is. It's not in somebody else's. No, get the log out of your own eye. You're trying to pick motes out of other people's eyes, but you're the one with the problem. It's your vision that's clouded. It's your vision that's all bunged up with, you know, a big log, a beam in your eye. So. Anyway, that's, you know, I'm not complaining, because that my stupidity of taking so long to learn some good lessons in life. So one of them is, I mean, I'm telling you what, God's running the operation, and I've said that before. You know, God is the one that has everything under control. You know, I've said before, if you're worried about chemtrails, man, either do something about it or shut up and pray. Get on your knees and pray about it, because God has it under control. He ain't worried about it, and I'm not worried about it. Nobody that knows anything, we're not worried about it. So, you know, just water is a key too. Waterislife.love. Look that up. Water communicates worldwide. All water is communicated. These spring waters from Ecuador, New Zealand. The Alqueen Springs is up in Idaho. No, it's down in Idaho, down almost on the Nevada border. It's a spring down there. Very, very interesting spring. I found that because it was deuterium. I found that water because on Amazon I punched in deuterium depleted water. All right, that's what it pulled up, that water, because he listed it 135 parts per million. Yeah, you know, not real low, but it's lower, better than 150 or higher. And by the way, 150. Let me write that down so you figure that out. See that? Get it in your head. "150 parts per million is the standard. You don't want to be above that. You want to be below that. Okay, 135 is what that water is rated at. At Queen Springs, that crystal source water is silica waters. It's also called silica waters. But that's rated at 135 parts per million deuterium. So it's lower than the standard. How do they come up with that standard? From the amount of deuterium water in the healthiest mammal on Earth, grass-fed beef cattle. I thought that, I just love that. The healthiest thing on Earth is grass-fed beef, so that's what we're going to set the bar at. The bar is 150 parts per million, because that's what cattle have. So very cool, because they eat a lot of grass. They eat grass with just water in it, so they don't have to, you know, they take in a good amount of healthy water. Which, by the way, a good way to take in water is with your food you eat. It's said that people in the desert areas are better hydrated than Americans, because they're eating food that has water. They're getting their water from food, not necessarily from drinking it. You can drink 5 gallons of water a day, but if your body doesn't absorb it, it ain't gonna do you any good. That's why I'm saying structured water is so important. Microclustered, structured, hexagonal water is so important. You know, I first started running across that like almost 20 years ago, and I was like, put it on the back burner. Yeah, it's weird science. Kind of sounds weird. Kind of sounds hokey. It sounds kind of, maybe that's new agey. I don't want to really look at it right now. I'd see it the second time, and then the third time I start studying that. Okay, there's something here, you know. Subtle energy, you know. Something here, you know. Yeah. One lady said, I don't see how people talk about chakras. How can that be? What are chakras? Well, it's hardcore science, lady. They tell you the exact frequency of every chakra. You can get a bowl, a Tibetan, you know, brass bowl, and do that, and you feel it in your heart. Your heart will vibrate. Very healing. Crown chakra, you know, third eye chakra, throat chakra, solar plexus chakra, sacral chakra. There's a frequency for every one of them. You can buy tuning forks for them. for the whole set. I don't know how good this one is, but it has a box for, resonance box. That's 528 hertz. Supposedly the frequency of DNA, love frequency. So I thought it was pretty cool. I got a whistle too. I don't know where it's at. And you kind of meditate, kind of a breathing exercise, and calm you down. Just blow on the whistle. Another tuning fork. I know where I'm giving this. I'm giving this to. Yep. It's not that great because you gotta kind of. Oh, I can do this. Until I touch my ear, I can't even hear it. I can feel it, vibrating, but I can't hear it. Can't hear my lifter at all. I can hear it there. That'd be pretty cool. I know where that's going. That is a present. Yes, ma'am. Yes, dear sister. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I don't think very fast, so give me a break. Anyway. I think it's about time to quit. Let's see if anybody's on. If you got anything to say it now or forever hold your peace. Glasses. Any questions on deuterium, water? Why did Hitler want negative polarity? Polarity. Negative charge, right? Yeah. Negative was positive, yeah. Yep, James, thank you so much for that. Did I get it right? I mean, set it on the ground. Did you say 2 hours, half an hour, something like that? I figured half an hour might do it. I mean, if you ground out, you'll be ground. If you walk outside, you stand outside, you'll be bled off all this positive charge in your body in about 15, 20 minutes. Actually, about 5 seconds, you'll be clear. Anyway, all right. Hallelujah. All right, I'm going to go give it up. 2:40. Yeah, about an hour. That's long enough. I just want to do a little bit try to do this thing every night, but I might read a little bit someday, but not now. I'm just too tired. And I finished the portent. Okay. This guy's quite a scholar, but I'll tell you what, that was not the facade. Definitely not the facade. I'd read this one first, definitely. That's the first book to read. Don't try to read the second without reading this because it won't make no sense. But a huge part of that book is just this discussion for hours on end, chapters on end. I mean, just intricate theological, biblical discussion of antique artifacts and this and that, and bones and ossuaries, and Hebrew and Aramaic and blah 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 blah. But yeah. One thing he makes a point in this book, which I think is phenomenal, is that as a theologian, he's kidnapped by the government, taken to Area 51, and given the task with a climatologist, with a theologian, with a Nazi war researcher, and all different kinds of people, chemists, biochemists, physicists. How do we present aliens to the American public without blowing society completely out of whack? And his take is, the word image, man is in the image of God. How do you say that creation image? If man's created in the image of God and an alien comes up and he looks like a lizard, how are we going to explain that to the American public? What does that do to the Bible? What does that do to the creation account? And Heiser's contention is that, well, number one, the Bible is not a scientific document, so he doesn't worry about that. He just throws it out the window. When it comes to creation and flat Earth and everything, he just throws it out the window. Well, the Bible's wrong because science proved it. Okay, so that's one way to approach it. But his other point is this: is that see if I can recap this or recount this accurately. Oh yeah. So it says man is created in the image of God. The word image in Hebrew means to go into the office of and do the work of. It doesn't mean it looks like the man looks like God. The God looks like man. It just means that man is supposed to do the work of God. Well, God is a creator, supposed to create. So that's what the word image means, is to imitate God. He's a creator. You're supposed to create, and I love that. We're supposed to speak things, and people will, understand that. You say something. It's been proven that human DNA can change matter. It can affect matter and organize matter. So, very true. Okay, that's it. I'm tired. Good night. God bless everybody. Bye-bye. Pasta lasagna. Hasta la vista, baby. Oh, I gotta just say thank you, Father. Hallelujah. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Wow. Amazing grace. We were at a concert one time with Todd Agnew. He wrote a song called "Amazing Grace." Same words kind of, but it's just really neat rendition. Power went out, right? No lights, backup lights came on, and he started singing that. The whole church just joined in. Everybody low, it was so cool, so worshipful, so awesome. So the power goes out, we'll be okay, God will take care of us. All right. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father, for everything. Thank you for my change of life coming up here really quick. Starting like tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a truck here tomorrow. So, and then go from there, Hope I get help enough to load it. And get the heck out of here. Get out of Dodge. GOOD. Might get my good bag going. Get out of Dodge bag. Okay. God bless everybody. Good night.